can't believe another year's gone already. It seems like time to go by fast sometimes, don't it? Nonetheless, this is my top 10 favorite movies of 2021, and I thought I'd give my own opinion about what films were great in my opinion. Now, you don't have to agree with this list. That's the thing about opinions. Everyone's entitled to one. Everybody's list is different. But nonetheless, if you want to know more about these films, I have reviewed every film on this list. They're on my channel. So here it is. Here is my favorite movies of 2021. Coming in at number 10 is Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, I really enjoyed this film simply because of the spectacle fights between both beasts. Sure, the story wasn't the greatest and the acting could have been better, but I personally like this film. And it's a movie that gets a lot of negative reviews. Now, frankly, this film's not everybody. But for me, the favorite part of this film is when Godzilla and Kong obviously are facing off. That's why it's at number 10. Number 9 spot is The Suicide Squad. I have to say, I had an enjoyable time when this film came out earlier this year. From the horrendous 2016 film to this, it's such an improvement. The acting, the action scenes. Learn about these new characters, Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher 2. Obscure characters I never heard of before, but I thought it was fun. It was a good time. Like I say, I laughed this movie. I enjoyed several aspects of this film. And it certainly is a DC film that gets things right. It's not perfect, but it's still enjoyable nonetheless. And at number 8 is A Quiet Place Part 2. I really enjoyed this film. I mean, I think it's good just as the first film. From the acting, from entering blood, to little kids, to the action scenes. Even seeing that flashback in the beginning of the movie was pretty cool. Plus, you have this whole mystery about how to stop these things. Yeah, we find out in part 2, but they expand upon that. I don't know if it's part 3 is going to happen, but it'll be certainly nice to see. Simply because of all that went on in this film. At number 7 is King Richard. Yeah, Will Smith should probably get an Oscar for this role, and other people that worked on this film as well. Everyone was great in this film. What can I say? From the acting to the family dynamic of seeing Phoenix and Serena Williams work with their father, and the mere fact that Will Smith turned in one of his best performances of the year. So that's why it's at number 7. At the number 6 spot is Raya and the Last Dragon. I really have to say, this animated film, it touched my heart simply because of how one woman was willing to do whatever it took to stop the doom in this film. And not just that though, but seeing her interact with the other characters in this movie, such as the Khan baby and the little boy who owned the boat. It is lighthearted fun for the entire family. I love this film. It's great. There are some great moments in it. And this was generally a surprise film for me. When I saw it earlier this year, it's that good for film in my opinion. Coming in at number 5 is Nomadland. I have to say, this is another surprise of the year simply because of the story. You have this woman, she's homeless, she's a nomad, but she doesn't blame anybody for her situation. In fact, she learns a lot about herself in this film. And not just that though, but there's a lot of touching moments in this movie. I literally was rooting for her to try to find a better way of living. And this is honestly one of the films that make me really think more about the people that are in less unfortunate situations. This is such a beloved film. It is such a great movie experience in my opinion. Coming in at number 4 is SpiderMan No Way Home. What else more can I say about this film I haven't said already? From the 3 Peter Parkers to the villains, to how everything is different by the end of this film. This movie, I got everything I wanted out of this film. Being a Spider-Man fan and just seeing everything else that went on in this film, it was just icing on the cake. This is certainly a Spider-Man film that's made over $1 billion. And it's a movie I enjoyed very well this year. At the number 3 spot is the Mediterranean. Now, what made this film even more interesting is based on a true story. You have this young man who is accused of doing terroristic crimes against his will. You know, he's tortured in Guantanamo Bay. He goes through that whole ordeal. But it doesn't break his spirit. He's still confident that he'll get out. And the whole story is some great acting from, everybody in this film to the story, which is fantastic. Even how this film ends, it's just such a emotional experience. I think everybody should check this film out because it is that damn good. Now, my last two picks for this list, it was difficult because, at number 2 and number 1, they like flip-flop. But at number 2, it is Dune. Dune was such a fantastic experience this year. I mean, the acting, the story, the characters, the costume designs, the visuals, it was all beautifully done. Now, the only reason this hadn't been on number 1 because it's an incomplete movie, just like Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. It feels like part 1 of a trilogy, done greatly, I might add. And this film actually made me want to read the book and watch the film that came out back in the 1980s. And this is such a remarkable film. It's at number 2 on this list. Well, at the number 1 spot, this film, it made me really appreciate comic book films even more from DC side. It is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I love this film. It's great. The story, the characters. The fact that Zack Snyder finally realized his vision. I want to see Snyder first come back. I want to see a part 2 happen from this film. I want to see the great acting from Henry Cavill and the other members of this iconic movie. This film honestly should have been released back in 2017 because it is much better than that awful 2017 version. Nonetheless though, this film, it is very great for what it is. I had quite the viewing experience. And if you're a fan of DC, then this movie is, without question, one of the best comic book films that came out this year. And there you have it. That is my top 10 favorite movies of 2021. What can I say? There was some films that I wish I could put more on this list. But hey, I had to keep it fair. 10 movies. But my list isn't the best list ever. What is your guys' favorite movies of this year? Don't even have to be top 10. And well, you know what that means. I've done my best list. And now, the top 10 worst movies of 2021 is coming up real shortly. So be on the lookout for that. Alright, this is Swim Guy 172 saying, peace out.